portion of the neck, we're going to be feeling for the trachea, the cricoid cartilage, and the thyroid cartilage, okay? All right, so looking down here, without the thyroid gland covering over, you can see the trachea. The trachea is here, it's ribbed. That's what we're going to be feeling for. We're going to move up from the trachea onto the next portion, which is going to get a little wider. That's your cricoid cartilage. So as you move up from the trachea, the rib portion will now become smooth. You'll feel a smoother portion of the cricoid cartilage. It'll also get wider. From the cricoid cartilage, you're going to move superior again onto the thyroid cartilage. What's the common name for the thyroid cartilage? All right, that's the Adam's apple. All right, it'll be more prominent in the male population than it will in the female population, but it's still very obvious in the female population as well. Okay, so the one that's going to be pretty tough is going to be the cricoid cartilage. There's going to be a couple ways we're going to do it. You can identify the thyroid cartilage, or the Adam's apple, and you can identify the trachea. Then in between, there'll be a smaller portion of cartilage in between. That will be the cricoid cartilage. Okay? All right, but we'll get to that in a minute. Now, and then we're going to continue further up. After we get from the Adam's apple or the thyroid cartilage further superior, we're going to get onto this U-shaped bone, which is the hyoid bone. Okay? All right. So our starting point is going to be right here. What is this space called? That's your jugular notch, right? This is the manubrium, and these are the clavicles, right? So that's where we're going to start. Your partner will be in a supine position. We're going to locate the jugular notch, okay? Right between the SC joints, okay? Sitting on top of the manubrium. All right? That space in there, that is the jugular notch. If you go anterior to that, and you're going to take your two fingers and you're going to rub up and down to feel that ribbed section of the trachea. All right? Now, remember, we're in an area of your partner that's going to be a little sensitive, right? And a little unnerving when you're kind of putting your hands on someone's neck. All right? There are vital structures around here, okay? Don't take your hands and start spreading the fingers nice and wide and start compressing down in there. What am I going to be pressing on? Carotid artery, right? What happens if I press down on both sides of the carotid artery?
Pass out.
Yeah, right? So we don't want to do that, okay?
Get me out of the test for that.
Yeah.
Do it.
So if you keep your fingers anterior, okay, and in the midline, and don't spread the fingers out too wide, then, and not into the soft tissue, you'll be staying on the trachea and you won't have an issue with the carotid arteries. All right. So from the jugular notch, you're going to feel the trachea. Okay. I want you to work your fingers up and down on it so you can feel that rib section of it. We're going to continue to move up. As I move further up, I'm going to feel how all of a sudden I now have to widen my fingers slightly in order to feel the next section. Okay? If I move my fingers in an anterior and superior direction, in a superior and inferior direction, I'm not going to feel that rib section anymore. Okay? It's now smooth. My fingers are wider than the trachea. It's now a smooth section. The next cartilage is the cricoid cartilage. Okay? From the cricoid cartilage, I'm going to continue superiorly. My fingers are now getting even wider in order to feel the next section here. And right down the center of the thyroid cartilage is going to be a little sharp prominence there, okay? This little piece here will be pretty sharp feeling, okay? So if I think I'm on the thyroid cartilage and I press my finger right down in the center there, I should feel like a little bit of a sharp edge, okay? That is the thyroid cartilage, all right? Now, when you found the thyroid cartilage, I'm going to have you ask your partners to swallow. Go ahead, swallow. Good. As they swallow, I want you to feel for the movement. I'm not going to tell you what direction it's moving. We're going to talk about it afterwards. All right? All right, so get on the thyroid cartilage or the Adam's apple and have them swallow. From the thyroid cartilage, we're going to move superiorly. All right? Now we're going to move up to the hyoid bone. Let me just change the picture here a second. Alright, so if you look at the picture at the bottom left, here is basically where the jawline is. It basically, you're going to go straight down in that direction to feel where the hyoid bone is. Alright, the hyoid is going to be superior to the thyroid cartilage, and it's also going to be wider. Alright, so from the trachea to the cricoid cartilage, to the thyroid cartilage, to the hyoid bone, they progressively get wider and wider. Alright? So I'm going to go back to her thyroid cartilage here. Here is the jawline here. I'm going to move up and in this position here. Now I have to palpate a little deeper. Okay? So I'm going to palpate up and in here, and I'm going to take my fingers and just gently kind of squeeze. Now the hyoid bone is pretty flexible. So if I'm doing that, it's not going to feel like when you're pressing on the ends of other bones. You're going to feel it kind of be a little springy. Alright? Don't squeeze so hard and try to feel that hard end. You know, it's not going to spring after a while. It's going to completely collapse. You'd have to squeeze pretty hard. Alright? So up and in. I'm going to squeeze a little bit. I can feel how it's a little bit springy there. And then I'm going to ask her to swallow again. Good. Might be a little more challenging for them to swallow. Try one more time. There you go.
Saliva.
All right. So what I'm feeling again is the movement of the hyoid bone. All right. There again. So the thyroid cartilage, the hyoid bone. I'm going to have you have your partner swallow when you're on that location, and then we're going to talk about what movement you feel. All right. So try to feel what direction it moves, and we'll ask you that question. All right. All right. So thyroid, the trachea, cricoid cartilage, thyroid cartilage, or the Adam's apple, and then up to the hyoid bone. Okay? All right, good. So let's do that.